My ego waffles. I ain't trying to be aggressive, but people look at me like I'm an old man. I came back from resurrecting. They look at me like I came back from the dead, like it's Resident Evil. But they don't even understand that I'm actually more human than you ever can. This is why I'm what you call the ex-human. I'm just different. I'm artistically different. Going on, this is your King of the Night, VincentValentine EX Turk, coming back at you with a brand new video. And this will be into the Final Fantasy VII one. I still got my other two final Dissidia ones I still want to do, but I just came to think about this because, well, I went back and played Dirge of Cerberus, you know, after I got done streaming and stuff like that, just for a little bit. Which I really hope I get a good capture card so I can actually stream it, or it comes on the PSN somehow. But that's beyond the point right now. So that's beyond the point right now. I'm kind of cooking sausages, so the background, you know, the background sounds are sausages, which I do apologize. But anyways, this is a video. What role was Vincent Valentine in the WRO army? And I gotta say, Vincent Valentine is actually the High Commander of the WRO army. Regrettably, and doesn't want to do it, but he is technically the High Commander of the WRO army, pretty much charging everybody to deep ground. I mean, a little bit later on. And of course, that's a position that Reeve gave him, which makes sense considering Vincent Valentine was a Turk and a spy. His Turk positions were a spy and bodyguard, the scientists of Shinra, making sure nothing goes wrong. So yeah, I understand why that had to be what it is, which makes a lot of sense to the actual lore of Final Fantasy VII. So it would make sense that he would be the High Commander of the WRO army. Now, we don't know if he stays with the WRO army at the Dirge of Cerberus, but I guess we can concur that there's a few more battles fought, considering there's actually interpretations in fan-made novels. There's interpretations of fan-made novels talking about Vincent Valentine as one of the great heroes of not only the Genova War, but also a great hero of the Deep Ground War, So, I'm pretty sure he stays after he's let go of his baggage with Lucretia Crescent, which he did in the end. I'm pretty sure he still stays as the High Commander of the Deep Ground Army, at least with the surviving members of the surviving members of the WRO. Yeah, it's been a long time. The WRO Army, But there is a deep ground member in the WRO army, which does make sense because it's Shulk, obviously. But besides Shulk, Yuffie, Weave, and then all the rest, and the remaining members of Avalanche that tag along with missions of WRO, Vincent Valentine, I guess, would pretty much stay as the High Commander of the WRO army, considering he let go of his baggage and there's more wars to be fought. Plus, Genesis, if you got to the secret ending of Dirge of Cerberus, Genesis comes back. So, and then there's fan novels made by, N.J. Gallagher or Livestream.net that goes beyond the story of what happens after Dirge of Cerberus. So, we can concur that they fight Genesis, they fight Genesis in one huge battle, considering Genesis is actually the kind of soldier that knows how to bring people back from the dead. He has the knowledge of rebirth, so Genesis is kind of dangerous. So I'm guessing Vincent Valentine would get back in his role as the High Commander of the WRO, since he's let go of his baggage and stuff like that. Though he still would visit Lucretia from time to time, being still in love with her. But he's figured out everything, Fighting this Fiats of the Deep Ground Army is what helped Vincent Valentine to move on from what happened to Lucretia, you know, figuring out, even though he figured out that, you know, some of the faulty goes to his father, Professor Grimoire, for creating the Deep Ground Army in the first place, you know. It's Grimoire's fault that happened a little bit, even though, yes, I gotta respect he's Vincent Valentine's father, he's still kind of fucked over his son, alongside Hojo, and etc. And President Shinra as well, since, you know, President Shinra's the one who's funding this stuff in the first place. You know, so some of the credit goes to President Shinra as well, but nonetheless, you know, I think that Vincent Valentine would stay as the High Commander of the WRO, just in case. Because at this point, at the end of the series, at the end of the Final Fantasy VII series, technically, and what I mean by the end is the end of the compilation, or at the ending of Dirge of Cerberus mainly. At the end of Dirge of Cerberus, you see Vincent Valentine smile. The very first time you see him smile in the rest of the series. You know, the whole entire series, he never smiled. At the end of Dirge of Cerberus, he smiled and felt at peace after Dirge of Cerberus. So, just in case to keep the peace, I imagine that Vincent Valentine, you know, would stay as the High Commander of WRO. You know, he'd stay at his post, and Avalanche is technically now part of the WRO army. The World Genesis Organization, which is an army protecting the planet. Pretty much heroes from the Genova War come together to fight any future evils. Whether Sephiroth comes back, whether Genesis comes back, or any of that stuff. So, any of that, pretty much, you know, any of that stuff pretty much is what, you know, goes on with the whole, you know, factors of, you know, Vincent Valentine being the High Commander. Now, it makes sense he would be. He was a Turk before, and not only that, Reeve knows about Vincent Valentine more than the other members. As a matter of fact, when Reeve was actually spying on Avalanche through Kate Sith's eyes, and you unlocked Vincent Valentine, I'm pretty sure he's noticed Vincent Valentine's skills, instant regeneration, chaos, the fact that he's part of Lucretia Crescent and Professor Hojo's, you know, collaborative experiment technically. He knows about that stuff, and that's why he would give the position, you know, that's why he would give the position of High Commander of WRO to Vincent, because Vincent's speciality. You know, plus Cloud isn't going to lead the army, even though Cloud was was dubbed, you know, a first-class soldier. You know, Vincent was actually more fitted to be a high commander, considering Vincent's history with older Shinra, and, you know, and Vincent's, you know, abilities as well. So, yeah, I'd have to say Vincent Valentine's role is of the High Commander of Deep Ground Army. You know, of the Deep Ground Army. That is true. He is of the Deep Ground Army. You know, not Deep Ground Army, sorry. I mean, I meant this. I need to go. I mean, WRO Army. Sorry, I can't really talk right now, but WRO Army. Sorry. The sausages smell pretty different, but anyways, yes. Vincent Valentine is technically the High Commander, and how we got that position was Vincent was qualified, plus Reeve was able to find Vincent, then also the fact that Kate Sith knew Vincent's abilities, and thus, that's also what kind of created Dirge of Cerberus, because, you know, Vincent was the man to lead Reeve Tetsui's army. So that's pretty much Vincent Valentine's rank in the WRO army, and may the crystal be with you.